I'd like to begin, if I may, with a quote from the late, great Carl Sagan. Mr. Sagan said, "I am often amazed at how much more capacity and enthusiasm for science there is among elementary school youngsters than among college students." Now you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with me? What does this have to do with you? What does this have to do with communication? Well, allow me a minute to explain. My major, and therefore hopefully my future career, is in the field of engineering, mechanical engineering to be more specific. To me, the quote serves as a euphemism that, that will lend to communication for a moment. When we were younger, as the quote describes, we seem to care a lot more. We care more about our parents. We care more about how things work. We're more inquisitive. We're more curious about the world as a whole, including science, including communication. We say goofy, weird things that we have no idea what they mean yet, just because we're excited about being able to talk. We're excited about being able to see the world and for someone to finally understand us. And the older we get, the less we want to do anything. We don't want to get out of bed anymore. We don't want to go to work. We don't want to pay bills. And we certainly don't pay any more attention to communication. It's just talking. We shake somebody's hand. We say hello. We smile at somebody. Maybe there's an underlying meaning with that smile. Maybe our postures and the things that we say aggravate people, irritate people, make people mad. We don't realize these. We just, it's all we've ever known. It's all we've ever done. There is room for improvement, and I think that's what the quote is trying to say. I mean, it says science, and he was a science guy, but if you really sit and think about it for a minute, you can just interject any word you want for science to that quotation, and it's everything. It just encompasses everything. I'm often amazed at how much more capacity and enthusiasm for communication there is among elementary school youngsters than among college students. I'm often amazed at how much more capacity and enthusiasm there is for lunchtime than there is among college students. I mean, anything. College students, they put everything off until the last minute. They're not focused on communication. They're not focused on anything. They're going to do their thing, and they're going to hope that the best happens, and they want to put very little effort for it. And communication is a form of science, just as engineering is a form of science. There's a lot of bells and whistles. There's a lot of little small intricate parts. There's a lot of parts that break, a lot of parts that get lost, a lot of parts that no one understands. And all these things together that make up communication are just as important to me in my career, in my life, as they are to you in your career, in your life. Well, how is communication important to us as a whole, you ask? Well, first off, let's presume that your career path leads you to a management position within a company. Maybe you found the company. Maybe you partner up with somebody and you both put up 50% and you run the company. You own it. Well, communication's already allowed you to network and meet the people or person that you start the company with. So right there, you're already practicing communication. You don't even realize it probably. It's about more than talking and acknowledging somebody. It's ideas. It's happy, sad. It's ethics. And these ethics and this happiness and sadness and this forging of relationships has allowed you to build this company up. And you're going to need to hire people. You're going to have to communicate with these people to hire these people. Half a dozen people, 2 dozen people, 100 people. Communication is going to be key for you to understand that these people are trustworthy. They're not going to rip you off. They're in your best interest, and they're there because they want to be, and not just for a paycheck. And their ethical cues and their nonverbal cues and their posture and their eye contact and the way they articulate things. These are all issues that are going to present themselves with just talking to them, getting to know them before you hire them. And this is the part of the story where I come in, the engineer. I'm hired by you, by your company, by your partners. I might not be an employee per se, but I'm most likely under a contract, and I'm obligated to meet your moral and ethical standards as well as to give you a product or design a product that is profitable for you and is safe and effective. And my ethical and nonverbal and verbal cues and orientations have led to the decision for you to hire me. We've established a good relationship. We have a good rapport. Everything's going well because of my posture, my eye contact, the way I, firm handshake, how we get along, how we converse. And just as Carl Sagan was a field on the Master of Science before me, not that I will ever be at the pinnacle of what Carl Sagan was, I would aspire to be. Hopefully I can be in my respective field. But all the knowledge in the world, and all the expertise, and all the speeches, and all the hogwash, if you will, all the filler, isn't going to do me or you or anybody else any good if you don't trust me and if you don't like me as an individual. You're not going to want to get in my elevator that I designed and take it to the 65th floor if you don't like the eye contact or some snide comment that I made. You're not going to want to drive over the bridge that I designed if you think I have it out for you or some demographic. If I made some idiotic comment and you took it the wrong way, and rightfully so, you're not going to trust me. You're not going to acknowledge my work. You're not going to appreciate my work, and you're not going to want to have anything to do with me. And that's detrimental for both me and for you as a whole, because as an engineer, communication is just as vital as anything I'm going to use, because that's my goal, to get things out there, to articulate, to design, to improve. Communication is a huge part of that. So in conclusion, communication to me has been and always will be more than just establishing relationships. It's being kind. It's about watching what you say even if nobody's around. It's about always projecting yourself in a positive light, not making your problem somebody else's problem. Communication starts at the ground level. It's the cornerstone of our civilization as human beings, as our species. It's vital. It's essential. It's about forging new relationships. It's about maintaining and improving existing ones. It's about truth and honesty. It's the same thing, I know. You're nothing without your word. Men, women, children, black, white, yellow, purple. If nobody trusts you and nobody likes you based on the cues and the things that you say, then you're not doing it right. You really need to just rethink who you are and what your values are, and just really stop and think about what you say and whom you're saying it to before you do, because just the wrong thing anymore in this day and age is not only can it end your career, people they could retaliate. It's going to end your career, that you could possibly lose your life, you could lose your job, go to jail. This is a really crazy day and age of social media and news everywhere and cameras everywhere, and everybody is always watching and listening. Don't ever think somebody is not ever watching and listening, because they are now. And it's scary. It's scary that it's come down to that. The basis of all of it is trust. It really is. It comes down to that word. I keep using that word, and if I've deviated from the main topic by using the word trust over and over again, I apologize. And maybe you're right. Maybe I have used it too much. Maybe I'm misconstruing the topic, but I'll leave you with one last quotation attributed to an unknown author that really kind of hits it home for me, and I think it's a really good note to go out on to highlight my communication and trust note, and that is, without communication, there's no relationship. Without respect, there's no love. Without trust, there's no reason to continue.